Welcome back to Axis Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Magi episode 21. Now, if you remember from last episode, we find out Char tells Alibaba there's another way to get stronger, another way to get around everything in general. However, he leaves Alibaba in the dark and doesn't help him out, and basically tells him, yeah, you can find out on your own. You bastard. Plain and simple. Now, we are taken to a different scene with Isnan, and guess what? Isnan was lying dormant inside of Alibaba this whole freaking time. No, I did not see this coming. No, not even from a mile away. Now, I should point out that Isnan puts a curse on both Alibaba and Sinbad, and I definitely thought that was worth mentioning. Now, Sinbad points out the only way we can get this curse or magic off of us is for Aladdin and Alibaba, as well as Morgan, to basically go to the Tauren Island to complete the 61st dungeon in order to find the Dajin which can heal you of anything. And I thought that definitely made sense. However, why can't Sinbad go with them? Apparently it's been pointed out that Sinbad's 7th Dajin, they have a contract that basically states you can't have any more Dajin and you can't go to any more dungeon. I'm like, so he can't complete any more dungeons? Oh, that's a slap in the fucking face, because I mean, Sinbad's just that amazing. And I can't wait to see the 7th Dajin. I bet it's a woman, and if it is, I'm not going to be surprised. I can't wait to see. But if it's a guy, you know, to each their own, you know. I don't mind. We'll see where this is going to go. Now, we are taken to a different scene toward the end of the episode. Apparently, Alibaba, Aladdin, everyone else in general, including the prince from the Ku Empire, they're now at the Tauren Island, and they're being sucked up into the 61st dungeon, which is Zagan. And again, that's where the episode ends, and I'll hold my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with Alibaba and Aladdin and their group in general, and they're being transported inside of Zagan, which is this dungeon. Actually, they've been sucked into it. But again, that's where we open up the episode. Moving on past that, we are taken to a different scene with the group, and they're actually trying to find the treasure room. I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. At least, you know, Alibaba knows what he's doing. Now, moving on past that, they pick a door, a random door, go inside. I'm like, okay, what's in door number 1? What the fuck's in door number 1? Talking turtles. I'm like, talking turtles? Literally? Okay, this is a dungeon, anything can happen, but seriously, talking freaking turtles? So apparently it's being pointed out that each door that they go into, it leads to some random animal's home. And again, Aladdin's the one that points that out. I'm like, okay, it's weird. It's like little stuffed animals, turtles, what have you. I'm like, it's kind of freaking me out. Now, eventually we are taken to a different scene with Morgana, and she's the one that actually finds the correct door. Now, eventually when we go past this door, we get to see a freaking bear. A Statue Liberty sized bear. Okay, maybe that's too big, but you get what I'm talking about. A huge freaking bear. And this is not Winnie the Pooh. He keeps asking everyone, can you guys spare some honey? I'm like, okay, first of all, you're not fucking Winnie the Pooh, so get the hell away from me. I mean, he's a big ass bear, and he's asking you, can you spare some honey? Either that's one cheap ass pickup line, or this guy really loves his fucking honey. But anyways, out of nowhere, this bear attacks them, and he goes psycho on their asses. And I'm like, holy shit, this bear really wants his fucking honey. Now, of course, Morgana rises to the challenge, and she is on the rebound. Now, moving on past that, we get to see Alibaba, and he attacks. And then Aladdin, of course, he also attacks. Now, I should point out, at the end of this little fight, after this bear has been kind of defeated, the prince points out, I'm sorry, I apologize for not doing anything. I just was not ready. Okay, Prince, there's the door. Get the fuck out of here. That's what I'm saying. Not what actually happened within the actual episode, but I'm like, seriously, Prince, get the fuck out of here. Go back to the Ku Empire. We don't need you. Now, we are taken to a different scene, to the next door. Now, this next door, it actually leads into what appears to be Alice in Wonderland type of background, or something from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, just plain and simple, and I thought it was kind of fucked up. It's like, are they in like a magical forest? It looks like a magical forest. Oh shit. Shit everywhere. Now, I should point out, it leads to Zagan, which is the 61st Dajin technically, and Zagan's basically introducing himself, and I'm like, okay, so now we get to see him face to face. He looks kind of normal. Now, there is a little information that's being thrown right at us, because we really don't know shit about this Dajin. Apparently this Dajin is a master of the power of the earth. I'm like, okay, that doesn't help. Anyone can fucking say that. What, you fucking Mother Nature's brother? I think so. Now apparently he has an orchard that's in the background that can be seen, and his orchard is actually filled with villagers from Torin, and the villagers from Torin are they're actually samplings. So they're being served as samplings, and their Magio is being sucked out to reproduce more animals in this dungeon. I'm like, wow, that just sucks for them. Really sucks. However, we are taken to a different scene with the prince. Now the prince is actually trying to save one of the women. There's a woman, she's from Torin obviously, and she's stuck in this tree and she's getting her Magio sucked out. So this prince is trying to free her because he's actually trying to keep his promise to the little girl. And I'm like, okay, this is very noble, but it's a no-go. It's not going to happen. Not here, not now. Moving on past that, it is being pointed out by Zagan. He says he hates all humans. I'm like, okay, you hate all humans, but why? Did you have a bad master? Did you date some chick which was a human who pissed you off? Or do you just hate people in general, or humans in general, because you just are not a people person? That's kind of what I got to that. However, the prince doesn't really wait for an answer. He just attacks Zagan right off the bat, and he misses. It's a dodge, and of course you're going to fucking miss. So we're taken to a different scene with Zagan, and Zagan actually captures the girl which was outside, the one that actually was talking to the prince. So this girl, which the prince promised he'd save her parents, was actually captured by this Dajin. I'm like, oh great, that sucks. Now he does point out, if you want me to release this girl, you can find her in the treasure room, and I'll release her if you make it to the treasure room. Never trust a Dajin you've never had business with prior to. Just putting that out there, because you know what? He can change the rules anytime he wants. Now, I should also point out he makes a path to the treasure room. Now, if someone like this that you don't know offers you something this good, then it's too good to be true. Think about it. He offers you the path to the treasure room, which means it's going to be booby-trapped. This is just hilarious, because you know what? I can't wait to see what's going to happen. However, we are taken to a different scene, to the next room, and guess what? It gets even more fucked up. We see bunnies on these cubes or blocks flying in midair. Yeah, they're bunnies. Oh yeah, it gets even better. They fucking transform into these little plant-like creatures, like a Venus flytrap kind of thing. I don't know how else to describe it. You know, it's like a plant-looking thing. So these bunnies transform, and it's fucking hilarious. And all I can say is they're magicians. Yeah, these bunnies who transform, they're magicians, and they're using flotation magic and something called defensive Borgs. Now, I've never heard of defensive Borgs before, so I don't really know fucking idea what kind of power that really is. However, it's being pointed out by Zagan that, well, not pointed out, but he's sitting down and he's watching a big ass fucking TV screen of everything. I'm like, this Dajin has it fucking made, and all he wants to do is watch these characters be tormented by his traps. Plain and simple. I'm like, Zagan, you sneaky SOB. But we are taken to a different scene with Alibaba, and he basically tries to slash all these bunnies, but it's really a no-go because he really can't do that much. However, Aladdin is probably one of the most amazing scenes in this episode. We see Aladdin, and he's using fireballs. I was like, wow. I love seeing his power progress, or his magic progress. It's freaking amazing. However, we are taken to a different scene with the prince, and he's basically requesting, well, after this fight is done, of course, the prince is making a big ass request about not having anyone else help him. I'm like, okay, so first of all, you help yourself to this mission. You join everyone like you're gonna help, and then you basically tell everyone in the middle of everything, don't help me. So the prince is asking Alibaba, everyone else, not asking, more or less telling them, don't help me. Okay, prince, like I said before, there's the fucking door. Get the fuck out of here. We don't need you. Now, it's also being pointed out that Zagan wants to make this little thing interesting. So this Dajin basically says, I'm going to divide you into two groups, and you guys are going to progress from there. So we see Alibaba and Aladdin in group 1, and Morgana and the prince in group 2, and then they're just randomly teleported elsewhere in the dungeon. I'm like, okay, so it's kind of like a rat race to the treasure room, or at least that's what it appears to be. So we're taken to a different scene with the prince and Morgana, and they're actually being attacked by golems that are dressed in suit of armor. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Now, apparently only magic will work on these golems, so if you want to defeat them, you got to use magic. I'm like, oh, yep, figures. This dungeon has different catches, so that's one of the catches. Now the prince actually points out, "Do not help me, Morgana. Do not help me." So the prince turns around and he uses a technique called Kai. He has a spear, and it looks like electricity at first, but apparently it's called Kai. So he powers up his spear and he attacks the golems, and it works pretty good. In fact, Dajin's kind of shocked that he can actually use that kind of power. However, we are taken to a different scene with Alibaba and Aladdin, and basically Alibaba is explaining he just doesn't get the prince. The way he acts, the way he talks, everything in general. He doesn't hate him, he just doesn't understand him. And then they press on, of course. Now we are taken to another scene with the prince, and he's actually fighting recklessly. He's using all his Magio up, and it's eating up his life force. And he basically says, capturing this dungeon is essentially to fulfill his mission. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought your mission was to become a delegate, or whatever, a delegate in Syndra, to learn from Syndra, not complete a dungeon. Okay, what's up there? Kind of threw me off when he said that. Now, of course, we are taken to a different scene with Morgana, and she basically rises to the challenge, and she's helping out the prince. Regardless of him saying, "Do not help me," she helps him. And she actually sets him up so he can actually attack another golem, so it kind of makes sense. However, afterwards, the prince actually passes out, and we actually see a flashback of the prince and his childhood, just for a brief minute or so, and then he wakes up. Now, of course, while he was passed out, Morgana was actually carrying him, and they eventually run into both Alibaba and Aladdin, so everyone's now together. No surprise there. Now we are taken to a different scene with Zagan, and he doesn't want the prince around because he believes the prince is slowing everyone down. And I have to breathe, because you know why? This scene was fucking hilarious, because what? As soon as the prince hears that Zagan thinks he's slowing the group down, because Zagan does point out, "Okay, look, prince, you're slowing the group down. I don't like you. Maybe you should get the hell out of here." The prince starts crying. I was like, you lost your composure based off of what the Dajin said. And then he gets even worse. After he starts crying, he just loses it. He goes all bipolar on us. I'm like, come on! Come on! You're prince of the Ku Empire. You've got a badass power. I mean, whatever your power is, using Kai. You got a spear. And you're crying. I mean, you had the badass, scars and whatnot. The eyes, the persona. And you're crying. Third time I'm going to say this, buddy. There's a door. Leave. We don't need you. I thought it was hilarious. Now, moving on past that, we're taken to an emotional scene with the prince and Alibaba. They're actually connecting, and Alibaba actually tells the prince, "You're not alone." I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty meaningful. Apparently, the prince wants to fight by Alibaba's side as well as everyone else's side, so he kind of wakes up and he says he's actually going to do something. However, we are taken to a different scene toward the end of the episode with Judel. Now, Judel appears to be outside of the dungeon, and he's smiling in mid-air. And again, that's where the episode ends. As for final thoughts, well, if that is Judel outside of the dungeon, now we know it's Judel, but I don't know if he's actually outside of the dungeon or not. I believe he is outside of the dungeon. First of all, why is he there? And why the hell is that bastard smiling? Did he get laid? Probably not. Did he finish eating Chinese takeout? No, because he probably had little stains on his face, so no. Have to rule that out, of course. But I'm curious, is he actually there because of his organization? Did Isnan send him there? We really don't know. Moving on past that, what the hell is up with this Dajin, the 64th Dajin known as Zagan, or Zagan, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I always pronounce it wrong, so that's me being sarcastic. I really don't care. I could call him Mr. Z. But anyways, Mr. Z is has me kind of wondering, why does he hate humans? Did he date a girl that pissed him off that was a human and she kind of dumped him? Was his last master a human who pissed him off, screwed him over? Or did he just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and basically say, today I'm going to hate humans. Let's fuck with them. But again, that ends it for my final thoughts. As for my rating, 3.5 out of 5. Were there any fight scenes? Yes. Was I surprised? Oh yeah, I was. But they weren't realistic fights. They were all cutscenes, not drawn out fights, so I cannot give any points there. As for the emotion and the drama, it was kind of there with this prince from the Ku Empire. He was definitely bawling his eyes out, losing it, telling everyone to leave him alone, don't help. Then we see his flashback. It was definitely an emotional flashback, but it was missing some substance of the emotion. I was waiting for something more. Then seeing the prince talk to Alibaba and how they connect, So it was there, but it wasn't. Was there any new information? Yes, we know a little more information about this Dajin, but not enough to quench my thirst. So final rating, 3.5 out of 5. But again, guys, that ends it for my walkthrough and review of Magi, episode 21. But definitely comment down below, let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely subscribe, check me out on Twitter, and follow me if you like. But again, guys, let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you think's gonna happen in the next episode that's coming out. But again, guys, that ends it for now, and I gotta hit the bricks, I gotta go, and before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it, you can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.